Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you are doing fine. In this session, we are going to learn about structure in TOEFL, especially sentences with one clause.
Okay, so if you want to make a good sentence in English, make sure that the sentence consists of two elements. What are they? Okay, the first one is the subject and the second one is the verb. So subject is the person or the thing that does the action, while the verb is the activity or the action that is done by the subject. For example, I speak English. The actor, the person who does the activity is I. So I is the subject. Speak is the activity or the action. So speak is the verb of the sentence. Let's talk about the verbs of the English sentence. The verbs of the English sentence can be in the form of verb itself and auxiliary verb. The verb is very easy. For example, you have think, talk, sing, drink. For example, I think about you. She smiles. I am studying English right now. Next is auxiliary verb, or in bahasa Indonesia you call it as kata kerja bantu. We have be, do, have, and model. Let's talk about the first one first. Be. We have present be. Be, is, am, and are. I am here. They are crazy. You are a diligent student. Past be. I was here last night. They were in the library yesterday. Next, do. It is used when you're going to make a negative sentence or a question. For example, I don't like pizza. She doesn't like Spanish. That's for present do. And we have past do. Did you like pizza? I did not like Spanish when I was in elementary school. Next we have. It is followed by past participle or verb 3. For example, I have studied English. She hasn't taken a bath yet. Next, modal. It can be present modal, can, may, must, shall, and will, or past modal, could, might, had to, should, and would. Remember that modal must be followed by verb 1 or the base form or bare infinitive known as es, d, ed, or in. For example, I can study English. I must study hard. Will you marry me? Next, for example, I could come to the party last night. Would you go to library? For example. Okay, now let's talk about what influence the verb of the sentence. So, verb of the English sentence depends on two elements. The first one is the subject and the second one is tenses. So, let's see the first one. You have to make sure whether the subject is singular or plural, because if we have different subject, so we have different verb. Rina is a good student. Let's see the verb first. The verb that we have is be, is. So why do we use is? Let's see the subject. Because the subject is singular, tunggal, only one. So that's why we use is. Next, Tim and Mike are here. The verb here is are. So why do we use are? Let's see the subject. The subject that we have is plural, jamak, or more than one. We have Tim and Mike. That's why we can say that the verb depends on the subject, if it is singular or plural. Next, the verb also depends on the tenses. Tenses means the time, the context of the sentence. So you have to find out whether the context of the sentence is in the present, masa sekarang, or in the past, masa lampau. For example, Jane reads newspaper every morning. Can you find the adverb of time in the sentence? Yes, it is every morning. So it indicates activities that are regularly happened or that are regularly done. Every morning, setiap pagi. Activities regularly done in the present. So that's why the verb that we have here is reads. It's in the present form. But what about the second one? I called Mira last night. Can you see the adverb of time in the sentence? Yes, good job. It is last night. Is it present or past? Yes, it is past. So that's why the verb that we have here is in the past form. Called. Call plus ed. So remember, the verb depends on the subject, whether it is singular or plural, and the tenses, whether it is present or past. Let's continue to the subject of the English sentence. So what can be the subject of the English sentence? Let's see here. We have noun, noun phrase, noun clause, pronoun, to plus infinitive or to plus verb 1, and gerund or verb ing. Let's see the first one. Noun. Noun is kata benda. Yes. And it can be in the form of singular noun or plural noun. It can be human or non-human. For example, Rina, singular, human. Tom and Jerry, it's plural. And it's human. Yes. Next, Jakarta. Jakarta is, yes, it's singular noun and it is non-human. While students is, exactly, it is plural and it is human. Next, noun phrase. Frase benda. So usually it can consist of two or more words. But actually, it is talking about the same noun. For example, small boat. What kind of boat? Perahu yang seperti apa? Perahu yang kecil. So that's why we say small boat. Next, a good looking man. What kind of man? Laki-laki yang seperti apa? So we have another word that describes the noun. Ada kata lain yang berfungsi untuk menjelaskan laki-laki tersebut. Laki-laki yang seperti apa? Laki-laki yang tampan. A good looking man. Next, noun clause. Noun clause here, it's very long. But remember, it only functions as the noun or as the subject of the sentence. For example, what I like about Korean drama, very long. But actually, it only functions as the subject. What I like about Korean drama is the handsome actors. The verb that we have is, while the subject is what I like about Korean drama. Next, pronoun. Very easy. Pronoun in bahasa Indonesia means yes, kata ganti. For example, he, she, it, they, we, I, and you. Next, 2 plus verb 1 or 2 plus infinitive. 2 plus base form. For example, to make, to sing, to speak. Remember, this doesn't function as the verb, but it functions as the subject of the sentence. To make pizza is easy. To make pizza is the subject, while is the verb. To sing Korean songs is difficult. Songs is the subject, while is the verb. Next, it is the same as to infinitive. It is actually the verb, but it functions as the noun or as the subject. It is gerund or verb ing. In bahasa Indonesia, gerund means kata kerja yang dipendakan. That means it is the verb but functions as the noun. That's why it can be functioned as the subject. For example, singing, dancing, writing, smoking, thinking. For example, dancing makes me happy. Makes is the verb, while dancing is the subject. Now, let's try to master English TOEFL, especially structure, and we are going to start from sentence with one clause, skill 1. Skill 1, we have be sure the sentence has a subject and a verb. For doing so, we have to identify the verb, then the subject. Let's see the questions here. Is the sentence correct or correct? Start from number 1. Tony is very bossy. You have to identify verb. Can you find it? Yes, the verb that we have is be, is, while the subject is Tony. So here the sentence is correct because the sentence has a verb and a subject. But what about the second one? Again, the question is the sentence correct or incorrect? Find the verb and then the subject. Can you find the verb? Be, do, does, did, model, have, has or had? No. What you only have here is subject, Mandy, but there is no verb. That's why the sentence is incorrect. Next, number 3. Is the sentence correct or incorrect? Yeah, it is incorrect. Find the verb. We have past verb went. Remember, the sentence must have a verb and a subject. We already have the verb, but what about the subject? Can you find it? No, because there is only adverb of time, last night. Next, number 4. Sam, he comes to my office every day. Find the verb. Yeah, it is comes. What about the subject? The subject comes before the verb. We have Sam and he. Remember, the sentence must have one subject and one verb. What you have here in number 4 is double subject. You have Sam and he. It should be Sam comes to my office or he comes to my office. But you cannot say Sam, he comes to my office every day because the sentence has double subjects. Next, number 5. Linda reads a newspaper. The sentence is of course incorrect. But why? Find the verb. Here we have the word be, is, but then there is also verb reads. Nah, that's the problem. Remember, the sentence must have only one verb. But here we have double verb is and reads. So the sentence is indeed incorrect. Continue to the second skill. Be careful of object of preposition. Still remember prepositions? Yes, preposition in Bahasa Indonesia means kata depan. We have in, on, at, of, from, behind, under, below, and so on and so forth. Now, the tips for skill 2 is identify the preposition. A word started with preposition is not a noun or a subject. For example, the building behind the library is haunted. Again, find the verb. Yes, it is be, is. What comes before the verb is the subject. The building behind the library is the subject. It's long, but the noun here is the building. Because behind the library is only object of preposition. It is started with preposition behind followed by the library. The sentence is correct because it has subject, the building, and the verb is haunted. Next, in the garden is falling. Now let's see the verb. Yeah, the verb that we have is be, is. Now let's see. Find the subject of the sentence. Remember, subject is before the verb. Good. Now, what is before the verb? In the garden. It is started with preposition in. So is it the subject? No, it's only object of preposition. So this sentence has no subject. So that's why the sentence is incorrect. Next, in a few minutes, we'll deliver his speech. Find the verb. Yes, the verb is modal will. Find the subject. The subject is, yes, good, before the verb. What is before the verb? In a few minutes. Started with in. So it is definitely not a subject. It's only a, yes, object of preposition. So that's why the sentence is incorrect. Last one. Career in computer science was not really popular in the past. Find the verb. Yes, it is be, was. Find the subject. Subject is before the verb. Career in computer science. Can you find preposition? Yes, in. That's why in computer science is object of preposition. Not important. But here we have the noun career. So the sentence is correct because the subject here is career and the verb here is was. It's complete. Subject and verb. Now, let's continue to the last skill. Skill 3, be careful of appositives. Tips, if there is a comma, it is only appositive, not a subject. Appositive means something that describes the subject. It is not important because it only provides additional information about the subject. Apositif tidak penting karena dia hanya memberikan keterangan tentang subjek dari kalimat. So if there is a positive, remember it is not a subject. For example, number 1, the doctor, comma, a man in a white coat, comma, goes to the ENT department. Can you find words between two commas? Yes, a man in a white coat. Remember, these words appears between two commas. An appositive. It is an additional information. Hanya informasi tambahan yang menjelaskan kata bendanya, yang menjelaskan subjeknya. So that's why it is not important. A man in a white coat only describes or only gives an information about the doctor. Which doctor? Dokter yang mana? Laki-laki yang memakai jas berwarna putih. That's the doctor. So that's why a man in a white coat is not the subject. Not important. The subject is the doctor. Now, take a look at the sentence again. Now find the verb of the sentence. Can you find it? Yes, the verb that we have is goes, while the subject is the doctor. So the sentence is correct. The appositive is a man in a white coat, and it's not important. Don't bother that. Tidak usah dipedulikan. Next, yesterday comma, Mandy, comma, slept in her study room. Find the verb of the sentence. Yes, it is past verb slept. Now find the subject of the sentence. Yes, there is no subject. Why? Because here we have Mandy, but Mandy comes between two commas. So it is only a positive. So that means there is no subject. Tidak ada subject. Karena Mandy hanyalah a positive. Next, during summer, comma, the air conditioner is always on. Is the sentence correct or incorrect? Yeah, the sentence is incorrect. Why? Let's see the reason. We have the verb is, and unfortunately there is no subject. We have noun here. Ada noun sebelum verb, the air conditioner. But let's see. The air conditioner is, yes, between the two commas. So it is only a positive. Karena dia berada di antara dua koma, dia hanyalah a positive. Jadi dia bukanlah subject. Now let's see before the air conditioner. We have during summer. Is it subject? No, it's only adverb of time. So we have adverb of time, a positive, and verb. No subject. So the sentence is incorrect. Now let's try to do the exercise. We start from the first skill, subject and verb. Still remember? Yeah, this skill is about identifying whether the sentence has a subject and a verb. Ingat, cari verbnya dulu, baru cari subjeknya. Sebuah kalimat hanya terdiri dari satu subjek dan satu verb. Let's see the exercise. Okay, now let's do the exercise. Remember, what makes a good sentence in English is that the sentence must consist of a subject and a verb. So you have to find the verb, then the subject of the sentence. After that, decide whether the sentence is correct or incorrect. I give you one example. A job on the day shift, at night available. Remember, find the verb. Can you find verb? No. Be is MR was verb? No. Do does did? No. Have has had? No. Model can may must shall will? Could, might, should, would, had to? No. So for number one, the sentence is incorrect because there is no verb. That's it. That's what you are going to do next. Try to do the rest. Number 2 until number 6. But do it later. Yeah? Now let's try to do the exercise on the next skill. Okay, now skill 2. Remember, it is about object of preposition. Something started with preposition in, on, at, from, by. It is not a subject. It is only object of preposition. And remember, it is not important. Now, find the subject and verb that indicate if the sentence is correct or incorrect. Start from the first one. This is only for the example. The interviews by radio broadcasters were carried live by the station. Find the verb. Yes, it is were. Now, can you find any preposition? Yes, by. Remember, preposition is not important. That's why here, by radio broadcasters is only object of preposition and it is not important. It is not noun. Okay, so you have verb. Then what you have to find next is the subject. Can you find the subject? Yes, it's the interviews. So that's why sentence number 1 is correct. The subject is interviews. The verb is were. Do the rest for number 2 up to number 6. Skill 3, it is about appositive. Still remember appositive? Yes. Appositive is the structure that comes between two commas. Next, remember, appositive is not important because it only gives additional information, and appositive is not a subject. I give you one example. The writer, as well as his assistant, are flying back hurriedly to Toronto because of the bad weather. Can you find the verb? Yes, you have are flying. So here is the verb. Now, let's see before the verb. What comes before the verb is the subject. Now, can you spot any commas there? Yes. And remember, what comes between two commas is appositive. What is the appositive? Yes, as well as his assistant. So here, as well as his assistant is not important because it is only appositive and it is not the subject. So what is the subject? Can you find it? Yes, the subject is the writer. Is it singular or plural? Singular. Remember, the verb depends on the subject. The verb that we have here is are. Is it correct if the verb is are? No, because the subject is the writer. It is singular. The verb must be is. Conclusion, the sentence is incorrect. Now, your job is to do the rest, number 2 up to number 6. Then, after have discussion later in the forum. Okay? Do the rest and join the forum for a discussion. Do the rest examples, number 2 up to number 6 for each skill. Skill 1, 2, and 3. So I guess that's all, guys. I'll see you next meeting. Thank you very much.